Hello, and welcome to Green Dragon, a monthly show where we talk about green initiatives in Maryland and Howard County and ongoing sustainability efforts at Howard Community College. Also, ideas and ways for you to be more sustainable at home. I'm Bob Marietta, HCC's Environmental Health and Safety Supervisor, and I thank you for watching today's podcast. My guest today is Lauren Turner, owner of Lauren's Garden Service and Native Plant Nursery. Thanks for joining me today, Lauren.
Hi, Bob. It's great to be here with you.
Even with the snow, it's great to see you. So, Lauren, tell us a little bit about what's been happening at Lauren's Garden Service and Native Plant Nursery.
Well, anybody who's been following us over the years has seen that we've seen a lot of growth. I've been in business in the county for about 20 years, and we started a nursery about 7 years ago. And we just keep growing and becoming more and more popular. A lot of people really love native plants and learning a lot about planting habitat and just eco-friendly gardening and landscaping services in general. So lots of growth. We started at a new location about 3 years ago, a church at the westernmost point in Ellicott City is what I like to say. It's in Western Howard County.
Yeah, I noticed the whole area around the intersections of Route 32 and Tridelphia Road seems to be experiencing a sort of sustainability renaissance with new stores and community activities. And I know widening 32 and replacing the bridge had to have had a big impact. But don't you think your relocation has spurred others to follow your example?
Yes, actually, Howard Eco Works is moving out in this direction as well, and Calvin Ball is excited about doing a public garden out in Western Howard County, and the bridge that was widened is right by the church where we are located. There is a nice little pollinator group in the Folly Quarter Middle School. I don't know if anybody's heard about what they're doing, but there's a great group of middle schoolers that are very passionate about eco-friendly gardening. And there's been a lot of actually native plants and stream restoration along Route 32. I'd say that sustainability in general is very popular in Howard County, and it is expanding westward.
Yeah, so what do you think the future will turn out to be? What are you going to bring to that area in the far west end of what is now still Ellicott City?
I hope to see just more interest in bringing people out to Western Howard County looking for native plants and just more space to plant things and garden and more landscaping. So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, we're looking forward to it, definitely. So, what do you tell people when they ask about native versus non-native plants?
I say the main difference is that native plants provide food and habitat, and non-native plants only provide habitat, but they will also outcompete native plants. And so that means that there can be a limited supply of food for wildlife if the non-native plants are outcompeting the food sources. And so that's why it can be important to manage invasive plants and plant the native plants for local wildlife.
Yeah, that's a great point for people that like to see the birds and the butterflies, and the other critters around. So, does
Mhm.
your nursery produce enough plants to support your landscaping business? And is that even a goal given the limitations of your new property?
So this is an interesting point that you bring up because we actually supply one of my main goals is to get as many native plants in the ground as possible. And so we put too many plants in the ground to be able to grow. The way the industry works right now is it's usually you're a grower or you plant. You don't usually do all of that together because of all of the inputs it takes to do that at the volume. I think it's really just the volume of we do about, I want to say that we sold or planted something around 85,000 native plants last year. And so what I would say is that there is really an opening in the market for anybody who wants to start growing. I think that that would be incredible, but we actually pull our supply from local growers. So we are not growing. But I think anybody who's interested in that in the industry, that there is a very open, wide market for that.
Is that something Howard Echo Works is looking into when they move their
I,
growing out
I
there?
do think I actually do think that they are growing. Sometimes when they're in a crunch, they'll get some of our plants from us, but they are growing some of their plants, and I think they're looking to expand that.
That's directly to you that people feel inspired to come out there. Hats off to you. So, what do you think is the biggest unknown about your business that you'd like everyone to know about?
I think one thing is that we wonder about, I don't think this will really happen because people really like to come in and talk to us about what to select. And they really like to talk, and get some knowledge from us. And we like to provide a lot of resources on our website. But one thing I wonder about is there's more and more things are moving onto online, where people shop online and then they have things shipped directly to their house. And so I do wonder about if nurseries will eventually sort of be a thing of the past. A lot of people who come in and shop at our nursery say never, they want to see the plant in person and they want to talk to us about it. But I do wonder about that. And then there's this big, tricky subject about cultivars and people, and we need a lot of more information because there are some studies that show that some of the cultivars are more beneficial. And then we know that some of them definitely are not. And Mount Cuba does a lot of trials. And so that's a lot of unknowns. And then, there's a lot of information that shows that using cultivars have already changed the wild population a lot. And so it's already a little bit too late. And then there's, some other information that shows that it isn't. And we should really be, careful about that. And so I think that's a big, touchy area as well. That's sort of an unknown.
Yeah. Well, who is doing that research these days? Where
I
can
know
people find out more information about that?
Mount Cuba's trials, they do a really great job and they post their results. Mount Cuba's in Delaware, not far away. I highly recommend a membership, but you can also go check their trials, and they will grow different cultivars and straight species next to each other and then observe and see what the results are and report them online. And Doug Tallamy does a lot of research too. So if you look at his work, I think it's University of Delaware that he's at. And he's very passionate. Yeah. So he'll do, he's done a lot of research and he'll share.
Yeah. Those are great suggestions. And I know the Columbia Cares groups and the Master Gardeners take field trips up to Mount Cuba. And so that it is accessible if people find it. And Doug Tallamy came down here last year and gave a big talk.
Was he at the Conservancy?
No, they had him at the who was it? At the Oakland Mills Interfaith Center.
Oh, nice. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I've been so busy with the business. There are so many great things in this county that people have been, it's a really great county if you're into sustainability.
Well, that brings up my next question. Why is your business located in Howard County, Maryland?
Well, I came down here to go to school. I got my master's in herbal medicine and nutrition. And my undergrad is in horticulture. So I'm just a plant person through and through. And I started my business when I was in school. And then I just settled here. My husband was in school in Maryland as well. And we lived in Old Ellicott City, and we were really passionate about just that area and then the issues in the, Old Ellicott City watershed region. And I just started my business and it grew, and a lot of people shared similar passions about the native plants. And originally I was a company that weeded garden beds without using any chemicals, was really into minimizing fertilizer inputs and basically being careful about what ends up in the bay. and just built my family here and saw that there were a lot of initiatives for sustainability from at the county level, but then also just a lot of people interested. So we just here we are. We came to school here, and I think didn't know that we would end up staying, and just have been interested in the area and connected well, and have really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think we've all of us in the sustainability community have really enjoyed and grown a lot from having both of you here in the area. So tell us,
Mhm.
where did you grow up? Where did you go to school, learn about plants, even before the stuff you've told us about when you were in college?
So I actually was born and grew up in the Poconos, and then lived in a few areas in Pennsylvania, and I went to Penn State, and that's where I got really interested. That's where I learned about the Chesapeake Bay and about how a lot of the pollutants in the bay actually come, like a big proportion of the pollutants were coming from farms, but then also lawns. And I thought, wow, are lawns really that important that we need to put all this stuff on them and pollute the bay? So that's sort of where my passion started. um, and I remember one of my early memories of plants are at the age of 5. I remember playing with the milkweed pods and sort of pulling them apart and watching the seeds fly. And I think it wasn't until college that I really realized how much of a passion I had for plants when I decided to go into horticulture. And then it just kind of built and sort of snowballed as time went on. The passion just kept growing into an obsession. And I think the time, let's say, when was that? Like the early 2000s, when I just wanted to do something that felt important every day when I went to work, and other people were interested, and it just really was like the right time, right place, and it kept growing, and I just feel lucky that so many people have shared that similar passion with me.
Uh, we've all benefit from it. And coming up, Greenfest, April
Yeah.
12th, you're going to be here
Oh yeah.
selling plants. Anything special people should look forward to seeing that you bring?
We are going to bring bare roots again this year, which are usually like the spring ephemerals, like bloodroot and hepatica and trout lily. I can't guarantee we're going to have those specific ones. I don't know what the list is yet. But we are going to have more of those ephemerals. Some of our local growers are growing them more. And we are also working in partnership with Bee City on pollinator packs, which will be, and I know Howard EcoWorks is working on this as well. It's sort of a partnership between all of our groups to come up with a pollinator pack, which is going to be this garden that we put together where you can get plugs that will be like a garden. So it'll be a pack of plugs that will work together in a garden. So you don't have to do any of the guesswork. You can just get the tray of plugs and plant them, and they will all work together for a pollinator garden.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to a young person wanting to get started working with native plants and landscaping, other than just coming to work for you?
Please come work for us. We're always looking for people interested, and there's a lot to learn. And I would say things are so different from when I started out. There's just so much information. So I feel like younger people already know so much from what they learn online. We see a lot of younger folks coming through the nursery, and I'm just so impressed with the information that they have. So I'd say, yeah, just get your hands dirty and start getting things in the ground and practice, and join. There's so many groups to join. So I would say just get started and join the groups and get out there. It's exciting.
Cool. So, do you have a favorite book or movie, music, or piece of art that speaks to you about sustainability and the environment? And of course, what's your favorite podcast?
I don't listen to podcasts very much. So I want recommendations. I would like to get some recommendations from you. Um, so I would say book, like a long time ago, I read Ishmael. Are you familiar with that book?
Yeah.
And that was like a turning point for me where like he was talking about the levers and the takers, and I just feel like that was a turning point like environmentally for me. Um, so and podcasts, I don't know. I think I just feel like I've been so busy. That's my excuse for everything.
Okay.
My business has been growing. I've been so busy. I usually read. Um, but
Well, maybe
let's
now you'll
see.
start watching mine, uh, since you'll see
Yeah,
yourself.
I
But
know.
I'm going to have to go
It's so
back and
great.
reread Ishmael. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but I just remember learning about the difference of like taking versus leaving and how much that touched me with like just making a difference instead of just, consuming. So I really liked that. And I liked the poem. I don't have it on me, but there is that poem by I think it's Baba Daisham about we conserve what we love what we understand, and we understand what we are taught. And that's just about, how important education is with conservation. Because I had a high school teacher, my conservation love started with the rainforest and learning about how much the rainforest was and like reading about that in National Geographic, like how quickly it was being decimated and the biodiversity in the rainforest. And, that was sort of my first passion. And then bringing that closer to home and looking at the forest, closer to home and development and overdevelopment and like the degradation of our local waterways. And, that's where my environmentalism started developing and becoming closer to home. So,
Now, I know in your
how
new
about
property,
you?
you've got room for a storefront. And I know you've got some works of art and books and other things in there. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing in the storefront.
Oh, yes. So the store is our newest part, and we do have some art in there. And our newest addition actually is seeds. And so we've started carrying seeds from Ernst, which is something we've wanted to do for a long time, because they don't package them for us. So we have to order them in bulk and weigh them out and everything. But we like Ernst the most because they have the local ecotype seeds. You can figure out where they've harvested them from, and they're the most local seed house that we have found. And so in the store, we also have like, yeah, gifts and things like bird houses and bird seeds and what else? So many things like chocolate. That's really important. Cards and things that basically things that are inspired by nature, people who like nature would enjoy. Have you been to the store? I can't remember. What kinds of things do we
I
have?
was one and had to force myself to get out of there because I had someplace to be. It was all so fascinating.
We carry like Nancy Lawson's books, Wildscape, and the Humane Gardener and the Plant Invaders Guide, the Mid Atlantic Plant Invaders Guide. So like things that anybody who's like really into native plants or the environment would enjoy. Houseplants, of course, teas. Yeah, I can't think for some. Oh, and we started offering classes too, like making kokedama and succulent plant arrangements and terrariums. And so basically anything green. Anyone that would be interested in plants and green things would really find something they love inside. So it's right
Oh, yeah.
inside the nursery in the old chapel.
Yeah, it was fascinating. And I'll
Hmm.
definitely be back. So, Lauren, do you work with any of the local conservation minded groups? And I know you do, but people like the Watershed Stewards, the Sierra Club, Isaac Walton, Boy Scouts. Um, you mentioned Echo Works. Who all are you working with?
We do work. I sat on the board of Bee City before we experienced a lot of growth during COVID. I had to take a break from Bee City. I hope to join again soon. I love the local Bee City chapter. We work also with what is the group? Cleanscapes, Howard County Cleanscapes. We work with the Community Stormwater Partnership Grant. We do work with the Watershed Stewards. We give a lot of donations to groups. People reach out and we have a form that they can fill out, and we'll donate plants for community projects, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, church projects, school projects. So we received like a lot of letters and drawings from kids of, the life cycle of the monarch butterfly and caterpillar and the whole, I love to get stuff like that. Drawings from kids is always a favorite. What else? What other groups have we worked with? And like so currently I was mentioning how we're working on the pollinator packs with Howard Eco Works and Bee City. Nancy Lawson, she's not quite a group, but she's the local author that we love to work with. She comes in and does book signings, and we want to have her in to do a talk this spring. I think that's everything I can think of.
How about local government organizations like the Howard County Sustainability Office, Columbia Association, Maryland DNR, and of course the community college? I know you're working with all these, but can you tell us a little bit about what you do with them and what you'd like to do more with them?
I don't actually know what the DNR is up to. I will have to, we're not involved with them, but we do work with Robinson. We make big donations to Robinson because they organize the whole Native Plant Palooza, and they offer that for free every year. So we like to give them a lot of plants at the end to plant on their property. We do work with Cleanscapes through the Office of Sustainability. So we install rain gardens and conservation landscapes for clients throughout the county that are deeply discounted through the Cleanscapes program. That's something I can highly recommend. It opens up on April 1st every year, and you can apply, and the county will come out and take a look if you can do a rain garden, conservation landscape, rain barrels, some other projects on your property that you'll get a reimbursement for. What else? I did I was part of the volunteer focus group for the public gardens that Calvin Ball would like to put in. Yeah, I would like to look into the DNR. Do you know? I don't know what they're up to. I haven't.
I was just thinking when you were talking about the bare root, the spring beauty, the early stuff that you're going to have. Mm-hmm. It seemed like that would be right up the DNR's alley. There's such a shortage of that along the stream banks and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'll see if I can drop a note to them to let them know. And there's some there that watch the podcast. So hopefully they'll catch up with you on that. But it's a dearth of those species.
Are they in charge of the stream restorations? Is that what they're doing in the county?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And of course we got those invasives. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're so bad, trying to wipe out some of those things that are wiping out everything. Mm-hmm. And it needs something to put in to replace them when we get rid of the invasives. Mm-hmm. Things like the bloodroot and others you mentioned would seem to be prime things for them to be planting. Mm-hmm. You've been to Greenfest since we started it, I think. And what would you suggest that people plan to do that are coming to Greenfest and other events like that? What should they be prepared for?
Lots of fun. I think Greenfest is a good time. If you're a plant nerd, I would bring a wagon or a big like tote bag for plants, and make sure you come early so that you can get the best plants first. I think there's also usually a giveaway, a tree giveaway through
Yeah.
Live Green Howard. So I would check that
Yeah,
out
the
because I think you
Bee
might,
City folks are giving away trees. Yeah.
yeah, Bee City. So do you have to sign up for that ahead of time?
Yeah, that should notice should be coming out pretty soon. And, they've got
Okay.
some new species this year. Yeah.
And you can also, I like little tip, there's a possibility if you're around at the end of the day to go check out where the Bee City pickup is, because I know sometimes the trees there's leftovers if people forget to
Yeah,
pick them up.
that's yeah,
You might
yeah.
be able to pick
They've
up a
gotta
tree.
find a home for them. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
So,
some trees at the end of the day.
if yeah, if you were a new resident to this area and wanted to understand the issues of climate change and other sustainability issues, how would you look to become enlightened without being overwhelmed and discouraged by what seems to be competition among all the well-meaning organizations?
I think there's Live Green Howard has a really good website that has great information that sort of outlines some good stuff in the county. So I think that's a good place to start. But I think Greenfest is a great. I mean, there is a lot to digest at Greenfest to go through, but yeah, I think Live Green Howard, and then becoming involved with the Conservancy. Um, what's another good general group? I don't know. I don't think it's too overwhelming in Howard County. I mean, but there is. I mean, it's a really great place to be if you're interested in environmental stuff.
So, do you have a personal favorite native plant species that you'd
Oh,
like to encourage more people to grow?
that's what day of the week? Um,
Okay.
it
Well, it's Thursday.
changes. Okay, Thursday. I would say Eupatorium. My current favorite is Eupatorium hyssopifolium, which is, oh, what's it called? Thoroughwort. Hyssop-leaved thoroughwort. It's a mouthful. I was hiking with my husband on the Maryland Heights Trail, the big loop at the top. There's like the shorter way where you go straight up, but then you can also do like the really big loop, which I don't recommend. Um, it's a long hike. But we did see in an opening, the sun was coming through, and there were all these zebra swallowtails on this Eupatorium hyssopifolium. And it was just so beautiful to see. And I have all these experiences with these different plants, like where I first met them. Like I remember milkweed as the 5-year-old when I first met that plant. This has been my experience throughout the years, like remembering where I first met the different plants. And this is sort of my most recent exciting plant. And so that's my favorite. And it's a big pollinator favorite. And we recommend it and sell it a lot in the nursery. So that's a current. And I'd say Vernonia, I really like. There's the common one, Nova boracensis, that I think people know about a lot, and that likes the wet soil. And then Glabra is another one that does well in not so wet soil. And I think we usually have both in the nursery. So those are some of my favorites, but it definitely changes.
Oh, so you
There's a
can't go
lot.
wrong,
There's a lot.
folks. You heard it. Okay. That's what you want to pick up at Greenfest. Okay. So, Lauren, how do you think Howard County and Maryland are doing with climate change and our sustainability efforts?
I think that the sustainability aspect, there are a lot of people who are passionate about it, and I think that is doing really well. I think it's really cool that we have the Office of Sustainability. Where I think that we could improve is development. I think that sometimes there's some leniency and a little too much development, and I know that that can be a hot topic. So I guess I wish that we had more progressive. Like I wish we were more progressive in that way. That maybe we dialed back development a little bit. That's what I would say.
Well, Lauren, we could talk like this for hours, I think, but that's all the time we have today for our show. So thank you for joining me today.
Yay, thanks for having me. It was great.
I will be back next month with another guest and another sustainable topic. In the meantime, if you have ideas or comments, you can connect with me at rmarietta@howardcc.edu. You can listen to this and all of our other episodes at dragonpodcast.podbean.com. And you can also catch us on HCC TV and Howard Community College's YouTube page. Don't forget to share, like, comment, and let others know to join us and help us to take care of our world. Because every small step each of us take can have a great impact when we all act together. Thank you.